The Buffalo Bills had a rough game last night against the Ravens. Took it on the chin. Big defeat. But you must take defeats and learn from them even more than you do from your wins. So let's try to learn from it. What positions on the team can we look in the mirror and see what we need to do to fix the problems? Let's start with the offense. The offensive line did not have a great game. They've been having great games. But it's a lot harder to play from behind than to play when you have the lead. And I think that was part of it. So the offensive line, each and every one of them needs to look at what they were standing at and what was going on with McGovern not being allowed back into the game after he cleared protocol. I don't know what's happening there. Alec Anderson, God love him, comes in and plays center, has a high snap on one of the plays that McGovern tried to come back in because he was cleared, but he wasn't allowed to come back in. So whatever. I would have rather seen Van Granger come in. I want Alex to just stay focused on being the tackle eligible. That's his position with the team. So I would have rather had Van Granger being hopefully our future center to come into that role, but they decided to go with Anderson. The tight ends. Yes, Kincaid had a couple of catches. Where was Knox? This is a team that's Baltimore is a team that's supposed to give up passing yardage to the tight ends. So we were going into the game thinking we were going to get good yardage from our tight ends. I would have liked more from Kincaid and something from Knox. Wide receivers. Not dropping passes would be great. I think a few of them had dropped passes. So we've got to work on that. Quarterback, Josh had a good game. Not the greatest game ever, but he was under pressure a lot. And I'm not going to put anything on Josh from this game. Going over to the defensive side of the game, of the ball. The defensive line up to this point of the season has been putting pressure on each and every quarterback they play. But this game, they did not. So the defensive line not getting pressure and not stopping the run, that's not good. So that's their two jobs. So they've got to work on what they're doing. The linebackers, I'll get into the injuries in a second, but the linebacker play was not up to what we needed it to be. The defensive backs or cornerbacks, actually, I thought the corners played well. I think the corners had a good game. Not a great game again, but good. And then our safety play. Taylor Rapp went down with injury. So that had to put Cole Bishop into the game. And I felt Cole Bishop played like a rookie. This guy's got a lot of athletic ability, but he was injured during training camp. So he didn't get a lot of snaps during training camp. And now going into the season, I think this might have been his third game dressed, and he hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. So he looked a little bit lost, in my opinion, out there on the field. And when he gets more snaps and gets more playing time, I think we'll have a good safety in Cole Bishop. But we need to get him to that point. He's not there yet. So I would actually prefer to see Edwards, who for some reason was not on the 53-man roster for this game, come in and play safety in our next game if Rapp can't play, which I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he had a concussion or some sort of a head injury. So, yeah, well, we've got to work on that. And Damar Hamlin, that's where we are at safety. Always going to say impossible to replace Boyer and Hyde, but got to do with what we've got. So as we continue to look in the mirror, special teams. Bass hit one well and hit the field goal. He missed one. So that's not great. You want to be 100%, obviously. But a lot of field goal kickers miss field goals. So let's not bash Bass too much. But the special team stuff is starting to just add up over the last couple of years. And at that point, at some point, you've got to look at the coach. So now let's go over to look at coaches. And we'll start with the special teams coach. My recommendation at this point, and I like Coach Smiley because of how hard he works during training camp and how great of a person he seems to be. But I liked Ken Dorsey too. And maybe there needs to be a shakeup with our coaching staff. And maybe the special teams coach being changed might be the answer there. I know you're going to say, well, one thing doesn't change the whole, whatever. You know what? I'm just suggesting one thing that could help move us forward. On the defensive coordinator, Bobby Babich, the defensive scheme didn't seem to be prepared to stop the run, which is what a team with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson is going to want to do first and foremost. They're going to want to suck up the safeties and the linebackers so that they can throw passes over them, but they need to get those guys sucked up to be able to run. Very first play, they didn't look like they were prepared as a unit with the scheme of the players they had out there to stop the run. And they didn't. Let's go back for a second. All great to the Ravens. They played a fantastic game. Good job for you guys. Hope, maybe you've got everything lined up now after a loss that came to a lesser team and losing by a toe to the Chiefs. The Ravens are a good football team. But this is a Bills channel, so we're focusing on the Bills. I didn't feel like the scheme was set up to stop the run. They brought in an extra linebacker, but at that point, we're 2 or 3 scores down. I mean, we've got to address that issue earlier. And, we live and learn. This is not, I don't want to bash any individual players. I'm not trying to bash any coaches. I'm just trying to, maybe help them look into the mirror and learn on maybe how to be better into the future. So each team you scheme against has a different thing that they're trying to do. A lot of teams in this league are trying to stop the pass, which is why I think we've built the defense to try to stop the pass. But this team wants to run and then pass, which is, sounds elementary. That's what a lot of teams say they want to do. But a lot of teams, if you stop their pass, they're done. So I think our defensive coordinator and the scheme that he brought into the game and rethinking things got to be part of what we're looking at. Our head coach, the last 2 games, he's gone for it on 4th and short on the very first drive. Now, it was 4th and 2 at midfield. We had just made a 4th and 1, short one. And now we've got 4th and 2. At midfield, I want our team to go for it on the first drive. Getting that lead is so important. And what did it do? I mean, we punted, and it ended up being a longer run for Henry than it would have been if we'd have just left them at midfield to score the touchdown. So the result shows maybe a good reason too. But if we go for it and we start getting a lead, it's hard for the other team to play from behind, just like it's hard for us to play from behind. So that's one thing I think our head coach made a mistake there on that 4th down call. And I said it at the time. And then our offensive coordinator. Okay. I'm just going to talk about one play call. I think you know what play I'm going to talk about. The trick play. The team was having a hard time getting the momentum. And they had shifted it. The momentum had shifted. The Bills had the momentum. They were going to, it looked like they were going to drive to score to get within 1 score, making this a really close game. And trick plays are made to switch the momentum, to change the momentum, not go with the momentum. If you've got the momentum, you don't need a trick play. You need to just go with what you're doing that's working. If you don't have the momentum, you can try to change it with a trick play. So they drew up the trick play. The timing is bad. And they had some backups in positions. They could have probably run the ball on that play. Now, again, I say Baltimore played a great game. Van Noy made a fantastic play on the play, not only taking out the pitcher, but then taking out Allen as well. So I'd like to know if there was somebody open deep, if the play would have worked. But, you know, in contrary, whether the play worked or not, it wasn't good timing to call that play. And I think Joe Brady knows that. I think he talked about it today in his press conference, and he'll learn from that. I think our defensive coordinator learned from the game. I think Sean McDermott is going to learn from the game. I think a lot of players are going to learn from this game. Let's hope they learn quickly, because next week we're taking on another good team in the Houston Texans. One of the most improved teams in the league since they traded with the Cleveland Browns and got rid of their quarterback and got so much for him. I mean, the Browns are hurting because of that, and the Texans are great because of it. What an awful trade for the Browns. Great trade for the Texans. But anyway, and then they play the Jets. Now, if we lose from the Texans, then let's learn more, because we can't lose to the Jets. We have to beat the other teams in the AFC East. We've got a lead on them right now. You know, we're in first place. So let's stay there. And the only way you can really stay there by beating the other AFC East teams, which is the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots. But we'll talk more about the Texans later this week and how we're going to affect them. Now, the last person that needs to learn something is the fans. Well, wait. I told you we wanted to talk about the injuries. One thing we need to talk about on defense is we've got Johnson, Bernard, and Milano all on the sideline watching the game. If those three guys, I mean, we're talking about the best nickel corner, in my opinion, in the game in Taron Johnson. An all-star linebacker who plays unbelievable when he's able to play, in Matt Milano. And then our captain, Terrell Bernard. So those are three very important pieces, whether the team's passing or running. When we get those three things back, our defense will look better. Yeah, this game, you know, some players had some problems with tackling and things like that on defense. I think we do need to work on our tackling a little bit. So, again, those injuries really hurt and may have been a reason why Bobby Babich went with a different type of scheme, because he didn't have those three players. So, you know, we'll see what happens into the future on that. Again, now on to the last person, and that's the fans. The fans, we need to be fans. We're not coaches. We're not the general manager. And we all like to talk. And, you know what, when we're talking about different things, we can talk about this player being bad, or this coach needs to work on this, or this coach should be whatever. But at some point, we need to support them. And I know I said in this video, I'm being a little hypocritical, that I think that maybe they should move on from Coach Smiley. But I support Coach Smiley because he's on the team. And when he walks by me during games, I encourage our special teams. Now, I see fans posting things like, is Coleman a bust? Can we admit Coleman's a bust? Dude, it's his fourth game as a rookie. And he's made some good catches and has a touchdown. Why are we calling him a bust? And can we lay off Tyler Bass a little bit? How is saying over and over again that he needs to be cut going to help his confidence? Because there's not a better kicker out there to bring in. There's not. Tyler Bass is the best kicker available for our team right now. And when he's got it in the groove, he's a good kicker. Let's support him. It's not my decision as general manager of the team. I am not the general manager of the team to say we need to get rid of this player or that player, or whatever. I mean, we can talk, we can make suggestions, whatever, but bashing our guys doesn't help. Let's be fans. Let's be supportive. I love all these guys on the wall. And I bleed Buffalo Bills blue, red, white, and blue. Till I die. From the day I was born till the day I die. So, go Bills! And always remember, God loves you, and so do I.